100% I would have wished for another team, to be honest. The whole family Dushibayev is always telling me on basically every upcoming occasion. I think we have an insanely talented generation.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Into the net.
She does it again! Yes!
Magdeburg are the champions of Europe! To come up with something here, she has a game! This is a Machineseeker! What a comeback!
Yes.
And it is time to talk handball again, everybody, in a special episode, because there was not too much EHF European handball action, but that gives us actually some time to talk handball with a great guest today, and those great guests are to my left-hand side and my right-hand side as well, because on one hand side we see the man that starts to glow once the sun turns up, Mr. Beach Handball in this podcast, Martin Vilstrup. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Great to be back. I heard rumors about that you couldn't handle two Danish guys, so I had to give Gisel the honor and be with you guys. But missed you, and it's great to be back. And all good from my side.
Hey, you are quite red in your nose and chins. What happened?
Yeah, it's just I think some of the cream that I use is not healthy for my skin. I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
Looks like it. But on the other hand, he glows all year, because in Barca he has the sun all year, and if it doesn't shine once in a while, then he just becomes the sun. Ladies and gentlemen, Víctor, Tomàs, how's it going?
Everything is nice. Oh my God, these introductions are just getting better and better. I like almost all of them, Bengt. So
that sounds good.
Yeah. Congrats for that. Yeah.
Nice, that sounds great. But since two Danes are too much for me in this podcast, I just decided to take it over with two Germans. So let's not wait for too long, and let's get in today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andi Wolff. He is here in his old gaming setup, but I've been looking at your Twitch account. It has been quite some time since you last streamed.
Nope, not true. You're
actually
not on point, because I streamed yesterday evening.
Yeah, I looked before that. Cool. Yeah, nice.
Funny
So
coincidence.
you are back to your streaming career there, or was it just because you had some spare time?
Yeah, I'm still considering playing furthermore handball or gaming. At the moment, I'm tending to handball, but you never know. I'm close to so many viewers, it might be more profitable to play video games.
Maybe. And I just read in an interview that you became a little more calm and you don't scare off those viewers anymore. Is that true, or yesterday you proved yourself wrong there?
I don't know. I had like 200 unique viewers, and on average just 18 guys. So I'm pretty sure that the people ran away again.
Yeah, fair enough. It's actually quite nice that you are joining us here today. The last time that we talked, it was with Martin, but now there's a third guy joining us here yet again. What's your first memory that comes to your mind when you're looking at Víctor, Tomàs?
Oh, Víctor. I have to disappoint you maybe, but the first thing that I have in mind is, of course, the final 2016. And if Alex is watching, I'm sorry to mention it again, because honestly, Alex is bringing it up all the time, but that's why it's always a talk in our locker room. But if I see you, of course, I have the Barca jersey in my mind, but at the same time, these games. So
Andi, we made you the player you are today, so you should.
I know, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for this. I actually think the same.
I knew somehow that this interview was gonna go this way, but I was not expected it was that soon, Bengt.
Obviously,
you know me. I don't wait. I just come to the point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But would you still say that the Euro 2016 was the peak of your career?
Oh, the peak of my career, for sure not.
Well, I mean, the
maybe
biggest
success-wise.
Yeah, the biggest
success so far, for sure. I didn't win another big title so far, so it's difficult to argue with that. But of course, I think I played a good tournament, but as older you get, Víctor for sure can agree, it becomes different to play. You are more consistent in what you're doing. You're performing on average better level, and I think that's more satisfying than playing like one awesome game, one minor good or bad game, and then again a good game. If you just are consistently good on a good spot, I think this is the most satisfying, because it feels like you actually achieved a certain level and you don't steep down too often.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're talking about big finals here, and we did put some glitter on your soul already, let's just take that away again, because you're talking about performing consistently, and those consistent performances took you to the Champions League final twice in 2 years, but still you actually didn't manage to take it home. Maybe you can take us
I'm
with
aware.
you. Yeah, well, obviously, but maybe you can take us with you into your emotional world. How did you experience the second final of the Machineseeker EHF Champions League last year?
Of course, the final was overshadowed by this tragic accident, but I think for us it started really well, or it started really bad, but then we fought back, and I think we had an advantage of 4 or 5 goals towards the end of the game. I think 15 minutes to go, and after that we somehow lost our focus, and Magdeburg showed their strength, what made them great in the last past years, that they never give up. They just play along, and somehow they overcame the obstacles that we put in their way, and led by an awesome playing Gisli Kristjansson, who was even injured on his shoulder to have surgery afterwards. They won by 1 goal, and it was really heartbreaking, to be honest, because, as I said, being up 5 goals, I assume you at some point think like, okay, it's just a little bit more to go, and we can make this last year's loss forgotten, and instead of that, you just get another one on your heart.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
I know, but you won it at least, so you can.
But
you can laugh about it now.
First of all, Andi, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. I think that especially these last 2 years in the Final Four, I think you did a great performance overall in both games. So it's even more painful to lose when you are performing well. We all have our ego, and we know that, of course, it's painful, but it's even more painful when you think that your job was done. But I wanted to ask you about the last final against Magdeburg. You just said about Gisli Kristjansson and his shoal. I saw in that final that Talan was telling you in his way of telling things, which is quite impulsive, emotional. Go down, go down, go down. He cannot shoot up. For you, this injury of Gisli Kristjansson as a goalkeeper was something that took you a little bit out in your game plan, because then you were not acting the way you thought you had to, and you had to go down all the time because Talan was telling you, and the injury and everything. Was this something it took you a little bit out mentally?
No, honestly not, because of course I've prepared for Gisli. Like, we knew he had some injury on the shoulder, but it's the most important game of the year, and afterwards you have at least 1 month recreation time, and so it was obvious he will play. That he played like this, that was for sure a big surprise, but I prepared for him. But even he will shoot somewhere. It's the same like on the penalty line. Like, I prepared for you shots, you prepare for shots of Hans Lindberg, of Deska. You know basically where you guys will shoot, but in the end, you also need to save, because it's easy to say, go down, because like the goal is, I don't know, like 3 meter wide. So
yeah.
Even if I go to Spagat, I have like maybe 250, so there's still 50 centimeter spare space left, and he's coming really close when he's winning his 1-against-1 situations. So I tried, and I think I even saved 1 or 2 balls. But of course, this 1 ball that I saved was a direct rebound for, I think, Matthias Musche, that scored the second chance. So bad luck. And honestly, I think it's just karma at this point, because Gisli said, "Okay, I'm brave enough to fight. I will go through this pain. I will do everything for my club to succeed." And I think at this point, destiny was on their side. There was nothing you could do about it.
Yeah. But I mean, you do get the chance to make it up here because just upcoming is the quarterfinals, and you guys are getting Magdeburg. If you're looking just at all the teams that are still in, would you have wished for another team other than the current Champions League winners, or is there some sort of personal revenge for you in there?
100% I would have wished for another team, to be honest. Taaland is telling us this for the past weeks, and in my opinion, he's absolutely right that Magdeburg at the moment is the best team in the world. They beat Barcelona, they beat Veszprém, they beat us just half a year ago in Saudi Arabia, they beat us in the Champions League final, and they are on top of the Bundesliga. If you watch this team, they are incredibly strong, especially mentally and tactical-wise, led by Benno Wiegert on the bench. They have, as it seems, a game plan for every game, and they're going through it from the first to the 60th minute, and there's no sign of weakness, there's no sign of giving up or something. They just go through till the end, and it makes it really difficult to overcome them, because next to their mentality they also have a really high level from their players. You have players like Klar, Magnusson, Christiansson, that are amazing players. You have wings, Hornke, Musche, Mertens, and Pettersson, who score on a really high percentage. You have Saugstrup, one of the best pivots in the world, who has actually, I think, the best shooting percentage in the Bundesliga. And I think the team in general has an incredible high effectiveness in their shots. And paired with their incredible fast break, it's really difficult to play against them. And I wish we would have played against another team that is more towards our style of playing handball.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, not Barcelona or Veszprém, but maybe some of the other teams, maybe Montpellier or something.
But could there be first of all, as Víctor said, really nice to have you here, Andy. And but could there be something about, whenever I'm thinking about Magdeburg, they have these kind of fast players with Klar, Magnusson, Smarsson, Christiansson. You said their names, but I sometimes also think about, they don't have a player that can go up from 13, 14 meters, like let's say Pascal Hens maybe did many years ago, to shoot from far distance. Is there something
funny that Pascal Hens is the first player to come to your mind when talking about this?
Just the German guy.
Why is not me? Why is not me?
I just thought about, isn't there something in the preparation towards Magdeburg that you can do, or are the players too fast that if you go too, way up on the field, you have too much distance to cover and they will be too fast and too clever,
I really appreciate the try, but I won't tell you nothing about our technical preparation for this game. Like you can be assured that Taaland has some ideas to win this match. And I also think, of course, speaking of the strength of Magdeburg, we also shouldn't neglect that we also have a strong team. They won against us in the finals, so I think we have nothing to hide. And in opposite to the beginning of the season, where we had many injured players, now except for our left backs, every player is back on board. And I think when we play in our full set of players, we are also no one that was wished to be played against. And but other than that, I cannot give you any information, because in those matches that are on par, there will be the small things deciding this game. And
true.
We want to win it, so you will hear nothing from me.
But do you think what kind of game do you expect it to be, in terms of that you played against each other earlier, and you said that you lost it, and now you also, especially, the atmosphere in Germany from playing there yourself, and the nationality, and now also in Poland, how do you expect it? You lost 2 times narrow against them. Will be like an intensity of the fight, because obviously it's a ticket for the EHF Final Four you're also fighting for, and for Kielce it will be a goal to get there, and also for Magdeburg.
Of course, it's a goal from basically every team in Champions League, but especially from the big teams. And if you are unfortunate enough to not finish at one of the first 2 places in the group, you have to face one of the strongest opponents in the quarterfinals. And as we said, Magdeburg is maybe the worst that you can get. But of course, it's going to be a very special atmosphere for me playing in Germany the second game. But I think, as you asked, like what kind of game it will be, I think both matches will be really, really close, and will be decided at the last minutes of the game. As you told, we lost against them twice in a row now, but both matches were actually pretty even, and Magdeburg was smarter in the end. They made the better decisions in the deciding moments, and that what gave us the 2 losses. But throughout the games, we had the lead, we had the chance in both games to win actually, and sometimes even to run away with a little bit of an advantage. So I expect nothing less than one of the best games, to be honest, in the season, because it's 2 of the best teams in the world right now.
It's it's curious because, of course, you are inside your team. Obviously, I don't have this feeling with this playoff. I actually said my money is on you guys, and I think I really think so, because I know Talan. I know he likes to play against German teams in these playoffs, and I honestly think that defensively Talan is gonna come up with something, and I'm sure that Dylan Nahi is going to have a special role in this defense. That German teams sometimes are not so flexible in their way of playing. So when they find something that maybe they are not expecting, it's very difficult for them to adapt to that. And I think that Talan has the mindset, and probably one of the players that can do much more damage to this attack, in my opinion, defensively, that is Dylan Nahi.
Really, it's so funny, because that's exactly the same. The whole family Dushibayev is always telling me on basically every upcoming occasion that we Germans are just too restricted in our playing style, that we just can play 6-0, 1-against-1, shoot, bam, fighting discipline, no magic, no esprit, just like, work.
And do you agree with that?
Of course not. We have also great handball players, and furthermore, you have to see that in this Magdeburg team there are also many players from abroad, like from Iceland, from Sweden, and I'm pretty sure that they are aware that there are different systems than 6-0. But what Thailand has in mind, of course, I couldn't tell you even if I knew. Because as a goalkeeper, tactical wise, I'm absolutely non-existent. Yeah. I just stand there in my goal and wait for someone to shoot on me, and I don't know what the guys before me doing. I mean, just screaming at them if they don't block the ball.
Okay.
Or if it goes inside, basically.
Okay, I don't buy it, but okay, no problem.
Actually, how can you buy it? You put all your money on the bet, so.
No, but actually. Of course, you have great players in Germany. It's the handball country.
It's so hard for a Spanish guy to say this.
No, it is. I actually think about it. I actually believe it. But Scandinavian players and German players are in the same package. You are so strict.
Yeah, if you see Bundesliga, like everybody is playing similar style of defending. And yeah, it's the same, like you Spanish guys just try to produce chaos and make everybody feeling uncomfortable when you play against someone, and you just have it in your genetics, You just cannot play like open and fighting and like be honest. No, you always need to come from the back and steal the ball and fall down and scream. Like for us Germans, the best is to win the game by 10 goals. Like winning this game, going home, be happy. Like, yes, we made a really good game. We overpowered our opponent. It was a fair match. For Spanish people, is like, we played so bad, but we won by 1 goal. This is the best day ever.
Yeah, I cannot. I can't disagree with that.
And one absolutely can't disagree on another topic that you have actually been bringing up a couple of questions ago. We often talk about Kielce and their injuries. So, for instance, Alex Dushibayev has been out for quite some time this season. Yourself being ruled out and just coming back shortly ahead of the Euro. And last year, ahead of the Truck Scout 24 EHF Final Four, I think you guys had training sessions with only 8 8 players available. How is it possible for you guys to still perform spot on when you guys are asked to?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think honestly that most of this honor goes to Thailand, because even when he's with, as you said, like 8 players, he somehow is coming up with something that is perfect for these 8 players, and these 8 players can perform at their best level in this game. Of course, Thailand wished for all of us be healthy all the time, but he's insanely clever when's coming even to stuff like improvising and like bringing something up that is perfectly suitable for this situation, for this game. And yeah, if you see that sometimes we played this season without Alex, without me, without Šičko and Karalek or someone else, and Kada even just made one game for us, you would think that it's going to be that it was an incredible tough season. But if you compare to other seasons, it was still quite good. And like even without us, they won against Paris. They drew in. Okay, that was with Alex again, but drew in Aalborg. We drew at home against Kiel. There were some respectable results even without the whole team. And yeah, as I said, I think it's just because Thailand is always aware what he can do with the resources that are on his hand.
And how did it feel for you to actually only be sitting at the side of the court and not being able to help your team throughout some long phases of the group stage?
I wasn't even sitting on the tribune. I was in Germany while they were playing, and I was watching their matches on TV. And it was somehow tough, to be honest, because it was the first time for me to have to see my team playing in Champions League. Like some games or another game in Polish League I don't play, so I'm a little bit used to this feeling. But not to play in Champions League was really weird, to be honest. And of course, it was for me some additional motivation, I have to admit, during preparation to return even faster.
And why did you actually decide to do your rehab in Germany? I think it was in Hoffenheim, right?
Yeah. Because I talked to my media manager, Kevin Guerin, and on the day when the diagnosis came in, I was basically told to ask the German doctors how we should proceed. And Kevin knows Sascha Panda, who is a physiotherapist of Rhein-Neckar Löwen, and he immediately said, like, if he wants, he can come to me, and I will check his condition. And in cooperation with Dr. Stefan Maybaum and Dr. Braun from Borussia Dortmund and Philipp Lübke from German Handball Federation, we all together agreed that there's a possibility to solve this problem without an operation. What would have meant like 6 months plus of not playing. And I said, like, okay, I trust in myself. I will overcome this obstacle without surgery. So yeah, thanks to the work of Sascha in the beginning and Dr. Braun, as I said, helped by Dr. Stefan Maybaum, we came to this rehab center in Hoffenheim, where Bernd Steinhoff made an exceptional job. He was like really one of the best guys I've ever seen in this field, because he knows exactly how he has to handle people. That he knows, like, I'm someone that is tending to do more than he should do, and he always gave me the feeling like, oh yeah, this is the limit. I shouldn't let you go over it, but you can do this, but it's not allowed. But he actually knew that I can do this, and therefore it didn't really feel like 2 months of working, because he always gave me the feeling like, oh, I cheated a little bit to come back earlier, but he had everything in mind already. And all the guys that I mentioned, I'm really grateful to, because they gave me the opportunity to play in the European Championship in Germany.
How afraid were you actually to even miss it?
Not at all, to be honest, because once they told me there's going to be the possibility that I can return before the tournament, I basically checked mentally inside for this. So they told me, like, yeah, after maybe 2-3 months you can start to stay in the goal again. So I said, like, okay, after 2 months I'm gonna play.
Yeah. And yeah, go ahead, Víctor.
No, now that you brought up this topic about the EHF Euro, I really think you are 33, if I'm not wrong now, 33 years old. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think you are in the peak of your career right now, in the best moment, probably physically, after you overcome this injury, and mentally, as you said before, you feel more consistent and you enjoy this kind of playing much more than before. Do you think that Germany has these players and generation in the future, because you played with a very young squad in your Euro and you managed to be number 4 in the championship, to win medals again, to be up there again? Yeah, that's basically the question.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have an insanely talented generation with the guys that are now the reigning champions of the under 21 championship, led by David Speth, Renas Urschins, Nils Lichlein. Those are amazing talents, and I'm pretty sure each single one of them will make his way to the top and will be one of the best players in the world in the not really near future, maybe because they are so young, but in the upcoming future for sure, and accompanied by players that aren't also that old, like maybe Johannes Goller, who's just 26, Juri Knorr, who's also not quite this young, but also not much older than them. I really think Justus Fischer, I forgot to mention, are amazing players, are amazing talents that already made their first steps on this level, being 21 years old. And if you consider especially David, for example, that his best years maybe will come in about 10 years or something, I really expect much from these young guys, and I'm pretty hopeful that they don't develop so slow that they will win something when I retired, but that we together can win something.
So okay, so I have to make you this question as well. All these names that you said, it's an amazing generation. I agree, and also in Germany you have, I would say, these other players that also, when these super talented players that are normally or should normally be in the national team are called, they say no for some reason. I'm not going to the national team. So do you think that this generation is going to be committed enough to be together, go to the national team and win medals for Germany?
That's like honestly a really unique topic, I think, for us Germans, because you don't see it in any other country. Like every Spanish guy, like you have guys that are like 40 plus and still are willing to play for the Spanish national team. That I remember Albert Stebrick, for example, after every game he came into the hotel, basically like taped into ice packs and was barely able to walk. But then it was the next game and he saved 50%. And Caneas is still playing. You played a long time, and in Germany, players tend to finish their careers quite early and also miss a lot of games. But I think this is also because of the Bundesliga being such a tough competition. And the problem that I see is like that many players, we talked about these young talents right now. And before them, we also had like a really talented generation being led by Fabian Wiede and Paul Drucks, that both also started to play at this really young age in Bundesliga already. And I think for these young players, there's not enough time to develop their physics to the level that it maybe must be to perform consistently on the highest level throughout your career. Like that you have players like, for example, Alex. He's one of the best players in the world right now. He never played in Bundesliga. He played in Skopje or he's playing in Kielce. And in these clubs, you have more time to prepare your body for the competition. And for example, this is also because of Talan's great mentality, that he gives us always the time to recreate, to have like some regeneration after competitions. That he's saying, for example, like Andi, today you don't play, Alex, the next game you don't play, because I know you're going to be tired after this championship. In Bundesliga, that's a luxury that you cannot really afford, because if you're, for example, Philipp Biecher and you tell, I don't know, even Domagoj Duvniak, Dule, you're not going to play today in, I don't know, let's say Stuttgart, the team might struggle because Dule is one of the players that in deciding moments needs to be on the court. And the same goes for basically all the players at this point, because Bundesliga is such a strong competition that you need all the resources that you can have, because otherwise you maybe get a surprising L in your season, and you are not able to achieve your goals. And I think this is like really the curse of German players, that they pretty fast can develop to a certain level, because I think on the width of the German squad, I think we are also almost unchallenged. Maybe the best are the Danish, then the French, but after that, I really see that the Germans are there, because we have like 40, 50 players that without a doubt could possibly German national team players. Unfortunately, there are not so many players where you can say, okay, they are like the best players in the world on their position, but the average level is incredibly high, and this is due to the fact that we start to play in a really young age when we're talented against the best players in the world, basically. But I see the advantage of other nations, that they had time to develop into their leading positions and are not thrown into the cold water, as to say.
Mm-hmm. I think,
but to conclude, I'm pretty sure that we win something.
Okay.
It's a super interesting talk also with the Bundesliga, because we also seen a couple of players that maybe wanted to extend their careers a little bit and move away from the Bundesliga, because as you said, there are no easy games, and if you play away in Stuttgart, it will be a tough game in Bergischer or wherever you play, the level and even the atmosphere in every arena there is in Germany, that's probably the best there is in the world. It's an interesting talk, but I actually also wanted to speak about the mental thing, because you said there are games where you have a lot of saves, and then there are some games where you might have as many saves as you want to. The mental part from a goalkeeper, because you also rely on a great defense. Sometimes you want to get the shots from the wingers or wide positions, but did you ever have any mental training or coach from your side, or do you think the mental part from a goalkeeper, it's either something that you have or you don't have, to take it on the highest level?
It was not per se a mental coach, but Jose Ambrados taught me a lot when we played together in Wetzlar, because of course with all his experience and I'd say just the character, the way he is, Víctor can for sure agree. He is like an incredibly composed and relaxed and funny and good guy, and he basically told me, funny enough, at the same time Ivan Obalic was there, who was saying the same, like two amazing players who formed the history of handball, told me like, why are you so intense, why you're so like so in German we say verbissen, like how you say it in English, how you're so much pressuring yourself to play good. Just enjoy that you can play handball. Just realize that you're good and you don't need to do something special. Just do you. And funny enough, Jose told me the same before the final. So I just went into it and just enjoyed the atmosphere, just enjoyed the crowd, and just enjoyed the fact like, oh, I'm in a final. And whenever I don't feel so well, I try to remember what they told me, and it actually helps, because in the end of the day, you're training for these games daily, and you know what you're capable of. So I think the worst you can do is make yourself feeling pressured, and enjoying handball is for us Germans quite difficult, as we said before. It's much easier for other nations, especially Spanish people, but it's honestly the best way to play, because you just can enjoy doing your stuff instead of just thinking about results and tactics.
It's probably also getting easier, with all respect, with the age, with the experience that you're getting yourself, and also, being in situation, and then next time you're being in it, then you set yourself thinking of the words that a former teammate or, you know, a great player told you, and then you have to remind yourself because, yeah, all the pressure, for example, from the European Championship, also whenever you played in Cologne, you know, I just as a spectator think the atmosphere is unbelievable, and whenever you're standing on the court, then it must be, you know, 10 times even better.
Of course, the atmosphere was great, and playing in Cologne is something incomparable, I'd say, and like a record visited
audience.
game in the beginning, of course, was special. But as Víctor for sure can agree as well, you get somehow used to it. You know, it's of course it's special to be in the semifinals of the European Championship, but when it's your like 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, or in Karabatic's case, 25th semifinal, you know, it's not the same as the first, you know, because you basically established yourself and you have a certain reputation. You have seen it all. You played against each and every single one of the best players, particularly of history, you know, and somehow you have proven that you're worth to be where you are. Yeah. And furthermore, you also get some reputation, you know, like when I was 23, like Víctor just tried to lock me all the time because he was like, okay, this 23-year-old goalkeeper, he just has to learn so much, like it's easy to score on him, you know, but when you're on a certain level for 10 plus years and especially you play against younger players, they don't have this same mentality towards you, you know, they start to think like, oh, this guy, oh, he looks so big today, like he can raise his leg, but he sometimes just stands still. What should I do? And this moment as a goalkeeper, you won. If the shooter starts to think what you can do, you will win because you have much more time to think, and you're physically not so much or so exhausted as the players, I'd say.
I actually want to come back to the topic that you just said with enjoying handball and that the Germans are almost too determined for it.
Determined, danke.
Oh, good. You actually left Germany. On one hand, do you experience that it's differently in Poland? And on the other hand, what else did you learn from moving abroad? Since right now Yuri Knorr is rumored to be in touch with a Danish club, but in Germany that's a rather rare case. There are only very few Germans that are playing abroad. So what did you take out of that?
First of all, it's a quite difficult step to leave your comfort zone, and like as a German, you also have to think like why leaving Germany to play on a certain level when you basically can do the same staying in Germany. Like it's also no secret that the Bundesliga or the clubs of the Bundesliga are paying pretty decent as well. So for some players, it's just not worth maybe to make the step to a foreign club abroad. But in my case, for example, at the time when I went to Kielce, I said it before as well in interviews that I'm as well open to play abroad because I want to play in the best teams in the world, and I don't really mind where these clubs are based. And for me, fortunately enough, there was the possibility to make a change to Kielce to work with Talant Dushebaev, what was for me for sure a big argument, because he is one of the greatest coaches in history. He was before one of the greatest players in history, and they were building or are building an amazing squad here in this club, and I wanted to be part of that, you know. And we made the final twice in a row. And honestly, in case of Yuri, I have not talked to him about that, so I have no further information than all of us do. But honestly, it makes sense for him to go to Aalborg because, as I can say from my experience, I developed as a person as well because of leaving said comfort zone, and also like learning to know, exploring another culture. You know, as we concluded, we in Germany are very determined. We are focused on tactics, on physical development and stuff like this, on discipline. Whereas in other cultures, they have different aspects maybe and a different view. And I think as more different views you can collect and take the best that suits you from other, let's say, countries. Let's say, to take something from the Spanish, that you have to enjoy handball. Then you go to the French, and they have the attitude that they are always the best. Then you take a little bit of this, like you take some joy, some self-confidence. Then you give your own strength from Germany, that you're disciplined, that you're determined, and then you can build something new that helps you to develop into a better player. And I see a similar situation for Yuri, that of course also has a lot of pressure right now in Germany, because he's just being 23 years old and has to lead the nation, has to lead the club that is really struggling this season, that has far higher ambitions than they have shown throughout this season. And I can really feel with Yuri that he thinks that he has to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. And going to Aalborg, first of all, he's going to play next to other world-class players or world-class attending players. He has players like Niklas Landin that can teach him a lot. He has some player in Vlach who is challenging him to be better, to improve, to fight for his spot. Actually, I think this opportunity for him is awesome to develop as a character. And furthermore, he said it himself that he is not the kind of guy that wants to live in a cage, basically, but he wants, as I mentioned, to explore other cultures and views of other people. And I think for him, it's especially on the mental aspect a great decision if he would join a foreign club.
All right. With an eye on the clock, we need to cut it down here because Martin actually is just about to go on his weekend trip. But still, until then, you already said it. You turned 33 on the 3rd of March. 33 is your lucky number, your jersey number. Will this be the year of Andi Wolff?
Hopefully, yes.
Cool. Then I would say let's wish you the best of luck with that. But before you leave, you know what's coming. It has to be the question. We asked you about the German national team with that already. But in Kielce, who's the worst footballer?
The worst footballer? Sorry, Tomek, but it's Tomáš Gambala. It's like he's closely followed by Michał Olejniczak.
He looks like a really bad one.
Yeah, he's actually quite a decent goalkeeper. But you don't want to face him on the court, It's really dangerous for yourself. I'm sorry, Tomek, to have said it, but we have to admit that it's true.
Sweet, cool. Then ending the interview on a high note here. Thanks a lot for joining us, Andi. It was great talking with you.
Here.
Time flew by in great company. And best of luck for the matchup against Magdeburg and for the rest of the goals that you set yourself this season.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Enjoy your trip, Martin.
You too. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Best of luck, Andi.
See you around. Great. Sorry to throw you under the bus here, Martin, but
you did a little bit.
If we didn't cut it short, we could have been talking for like 3 more hours with him.
Could. Yeah.
Do we have time for the Who Am I or no?
I'm afraid that we have to postpone it until next week. But
if we have 5 minutes, we can do it. Then I just run to the bus, and then we don't. I just have to say, I think Andy is a humble guy. I also remember from the European Championship with all the spectators. He's a popular guy amongst the spectators, and he's very likable and a chatty kind of guy. So yeah, it's also nice to have a goalkeeper on, we had Emil Nielsen earlier, and it's interesting battle they're going to face against Magdeburg, and, one of the games to look out for.
Absolutely. But an interesting battle is just about to start right here as well. So next round of Who Am I? It's 4-2 for the Spaniard against the Danes. So Martin, you better have done your homework. Next round.
I guess the 2 times Víctor was not here, but they don't count. 4-2 it is. Let's get into it.
All right. Then a quick round of Who Am I? I lost 2 Champions League finals in my career.
This one is a trap. It's a trap, right?
I never I never won the EHF Champions League.
It's that trap. I think I have another guy in mind. But let's
Me
wait.
too.
I was born in 1987.
Okay. I'm ready to. Am I ready to guess? Oh.
If you don't go for it, I think Víctor won't need too much time anymore.
Okay.
You're going for it, Martin?
Yeah, I maybe look stupid here, but as I'm in a hurry, I need to do it quick. No, I will go with a fellow from my country called Mikkel Hansen.
I play in the same position as my father used to play. I'm 3 times Danish champion. World championships, European championships, Olympics, I've won it all. I won my only European championship in 2012. Only the Champions League title is missing. In my first Olympics, I scored a last-second free throw against Russia. I play with an iconic fashion piece and an iconic hairstyle for the last season. Hello, my name is Mikkel Hansen.
And it's a record. 3 hints.
I had him in mind, but this 87, he's only 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Hey, he's 36 by now. So still having his birthday this year. But yeah,
you could have played for way more years, Víctor. You retired too early.
It was my heart fault.
Probably. But we are gonna retire this episode here on a good note as well. And since Martin has won it, he deserved his weekend trip with a record.
Wow, what a weekend it's gonna be, huh, guys?
Congratulations, Martin. Enjoy this one. This race, you are still looking my ass, but enjoy this one.
He probably will be enjoying this one. And that's what we would say. Have yourselves a nice week, and we hear each other again next week when it's time to talk handball again.
Ball across to Dylan. He double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Into the net.
She does it again.